Alright guys, this is the first gen XL dark Clearview windshield, and this is the Gen 2. Let's see what kind of difference there is. Alright guys, here's the Gen 1 on my left, Gen 2 on my right. They both are the same. Can I get out of the way? Can I get out of the way? They are both the same in color. I can't see a difference in color there. Now I will show you a difference that they made. See the hole size? That's the original first gen. That's the second gen. They open the holes real wide. I did notice another thing. If you look at, I don't know if you could see that taper on the end there. Okay, that's the first gen one. Now look at the taper on that one. So it looks like they made an adjustment not only with the hole sizes, but they made a little bit of a flare right there at the end. I don't know if they changed the flare on top. Let's see, let's put this one back on. Now, I did state in my other video, my last video, that it was only these bottom two holes that were changed. That's my mistake. When you replace your plastic insert with the Rockford Fosgate system, all of these bolts, well, threaded holes, are changed. So the Rockford system actually incorporates all of these screws. So this is the first gen. Apologies. This is my first gen. You see how it sits up like that? Now, okay, so that's lined up now. So right now, it came out. You see that? And those holes were only so big. And they gave you these plastic grommets. Oh boy. That fit exactly in that hole. So if that hole's not lined up perfectly, then your screw's not going to be lined up perfectly. And when that happens, you gotta constantly make adjustments. So that's the first gen. Now let's see what they did with the second gen. But you'll see here, look at what they did. They flared it out or down, however you want to say it. So now it actually kind of, this thing, whatever. This thing, it forms to the fairing now. So I'm going to pause this and put these screws in and tighten them down and see how the fit and finish looks. And I'll get back to you in a second. So here it is. The second gen XL Clearview windshield. Second gen, before there was a gap if you watched my last video, I could shine, you could see daylight through between here and here because this screen bulged out a little bit, just slightly, just enough to make a gap. And they also changed this. This in the first gen came straight out, and there was a slight gap between here, between the fairing and the windscreen, and they've corrected that. And now it is basically flush. Sorry, it's not focusing. It's basically flush, not touching. You don't want it to touch, but it's now flush with the fairing. So there you go. There's a good idea of what it looks like now. Fits a whole lot better. Nice and easy. I didn't have to struggle with it at all. I think what they did with flaring it down to form the fairing makes a world of difference, and it doesn't look as goofy as it did before. Go back to my first video or go on any Facebook forum, and some of the complaints about the windscreen is that it bulged out right at the end here, where every other windscreen, Clockworks, Harley, ends right here. This extends, giving you actually a slightly wider pocket of air for the driver. Now again, not everyone likes this, XL screen. It looks big and tall, and some people might think it's goofy, but I did take the first gen for a ride, and it was night and day difference between the 10-inch Harley windscreen and the Clearview in wind buffeting. With the 10-inch Harley windscreen, I was getting hit at 60 miles an hour, actually from 30 to 60 miles an hour, right at my eyeballs. This screen, because it sits up higher and out further and then flares, I was getting barely any wind buffeting on top of my head at regular street speeds, 20 to 40 miles an hour. And on the highway, I was getting just a slight amount of wind on the top of my head, but it was at the top of my head, so it wasn't annoying. It wasn't like pushing me back or moving my head around or anything. Now again, I'm 6 foot, and I have the Saddlemen Explorer seat, which actually lifts you up an inch, and I think slightly back, not much, but it does lift you up an inch. So yeah, there it is. Looks 10 times better from the original version they made. Not that the original version was horrible, it just didn't fit as well. It was a little bit more of a struggle to put on, and the fit and finish wasn't as good as this new second gen that they made. So yeah, I guess I could tell you a little bit about the process that I went through with Clearview, and how I was able to get this second gen version. I ordered the first gen on the second or third pre-order, I can't remember, but it was in November or December, I believe. And it was a pre-order, obviously, and they weren't starting production until January 14th or January 1st or something of this year. So, no, I think it was the 1st or 8th. I don't know. Anyway, I got my order on the 14th of January, I believe. And whenever I was able to, I installed and made a video on it, and while installing it and making a video, I noticed that I was having a hard time installing it. I had gap issues. I had, the holes they drilled were off. So I had video of it. So yeah, they immediately responded and asked me for pictures, and I said, I'll do you one better. I got video. I posted a video on YouTube. I'll send you the link and you can watch it for yourself. And they watched it and said, okay, we noticed with the Rockford Fosgate system that the holes aren't lining up perfectly, and we're already in the process of making a new generation or whatever, a second edition, whatever you want to call it, version of it. We'll get one out to you, a new one out to you as soon as possible. And I said, okay, perfect. Let me know what I need to do, how it's going to work. I kept the box already, so, whatever, just let me know what I need to do to, get the ball rolling. He said, you showed me video evidence of the product not fitting properly and the struggles, and for that, we'll warranty it. We'll send you a new one. Don't need to worry about any of the costs. I said, oh, okay, perfect. He said it would ship out in, I can't remember, I don't know, 7 weeks or something, or 4 weeks, 4 to 7 weeks. I can't remember what it was. But I mean, I live in Ohio, Northeast Ohio. It's 30 degrees outside, and the roads look like they were painted white with all the salt and brine that are on them right now. So I'm not in a really big hurry, so I didn't really, care when it showed up, and it actually showed up Saturday, I believe. Today's what, the 6th, so whatever, the 3rd, I think it was, the 2nd or 3rd, it showed up, and yeah, so today I decided to put it on, and I mean, it fits perfectly. The conversation and interactions I had with the people at Clearview were top notch. I never once felt like I was being, beat around the bush or jerked around or any of that. They saw exactly what the problem was and were more than happy to help fix it. Anyway, for those of you who want to know, the 2nd gen windscreen, if you ordered a 1st gen and you have a problem with it, contact Clearview, email them. They're going to want to see video proof or photo proof that there is a fitment issue with your windscreen. And they will send you the new one. They know that they know they have something that isn't perfect in the 1st gen, and they will send you a new one, and I guarantee you'll like it 10 times better. I'm not getting paid for this. I wasn't sponsored by this. My opinions are my opinions and mine alone. And that is proof that it works. So when I get a warm day this week, maybe I'll take it out again and see if it like I said, I don't think the height and the flare on the top changed, but I see that the fitment changed, so it's a big improvement. But with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.